I'm Anil Kumar. Let me thank all the viewers and subscribers who have made this channel a very interactive and useful by their own contributions. Here is a beautiful question from our new subscriber. I hope many will benefit from its solution. The question is based on multi-step problem solving. The question here is, you are making photo quilt by transferring photos to squares of fabric. Each square should be big enough so that you can turn over an edge 5/8 inch long on each side and have a finished square with a side length of 5 3/4 inches. Now, based on this information, there are 4 parts. A. What are the dimensions of each fabric square? B. How many square inches of fabric do you need if you want to include 48 squares? C. The fabric you buy is 36 inches wide. How long a piece of fabric do you need? D. You buy a piece of fabric that has the length you found in part C. Once you cut all the squares, how many square inches of fabric are left over? Very good question indeed. Let us see how to solve this. Now, this statement is very tricky. Each square should be big enough so that you can turn over an edge 5/8 inch long on each side. That means this length minimum should be 5/8 inch. You get an idea, right? So that's what it means. So when you want to flip over, at least this much 5/8 inch should be each length, right? So each square should be big enough so that you can turn over an edge 5/8 inch long on each side. That means both sides, right? So both sides it should be 5/8. And have a finished square with side length of 5 3/4 inches. So like this, there will be many squares. You get an idea, right? So there will be many squares like this, right? And finally, the finished length, that means this much of length, right? This gap means many, is how much? Is 5 3/4 of an inch, right? So how many 5/8 can be fit into this length? That is another way of looking into it, right? Okay, so how do we match that? 5 3/4 can be converted to improper fractions. 5 times 4 is 20, so you get 23/4, correct? Now, since we have 5/8, let's write an equivalent fraction with 8 as the denominator, right? So what we get this as equivalent to times 2, we get 46/8. So now, this total length, when you convert that to improper fractions with a base or denominator of 8, you get numerator of 46. And we have each 5/8. Now, how many 5s can get into 46? That is what you have to now look into, right? So now see. So basically, now you have to see how many 5s can divide into 46, right? So that means, let's divide 46 by 5. So you know from here, this is equal to 9, plus there is one remainder, right? 9 1/5, correct? So 9 times 5 is 45. So at least 9 full squares, right? So that means basically we have 9 full squares, correct? Now 1/5 means that much is extra, correct? But you cannot have 10 squares. If you have 10, this becomes 50, more than 46. But we want maximum to be 46, correct? So it has to be 9 squares. Correct? Now, what you need to work out is, if the total length is 46 over 8, what is length of each? So now we have 46 over 8. We have to divide this equally into 9 squares. You get the idea. So the whole length is divided into 9 equal parts to get the dimension of each fabric square. Got it? So when you do that, you get what? Well, dividing this 46 over 8 is same as 23 over 4, right? So that is 23 over 4 times 1 over 9. And that gives you 23 over 36. So each length should be 23 over 36. You get an idea. So each length will be that much, and width also will be 23 over 36. So you understand how we got it? So we got from the concept that the total length should be divided into 9 equal parts, right? So you could do this thinking like this: 5 3 by 4 divided by 9 basically. Is that okay? That means 5 times 4, 20 times 3, 20 plus 3 over 4, which is divided by 9, which is 23 over 4 divided by 9, and that gives you this answer, 23 over 36, as we showed here. Is that clear to you? So part A should be, what are the dimensions of each fabric square? So it is 23 by 36 times 23 by 36. So that is the length and width, right? So these dimensions are 23 by 36 for each square. Each side is equal. Does it make sense to you? So that is the most critical part, and we just found it, that the square should be of length 23 over 36. Correct? Now on the new page, we'll answer BCD, which is how many square inches of fabric do you need if you want to include 48 squares. Correct? So we have 23 by 36 each square, and this total length is 5 3 by 4 of our big square. Is it clear to you? Right? So now let's work it out. Okay. So what we have learned here is that each finished square with a side length of this. So we have one square whose final side length is 5 3 by 4, which is 23 by 4, right? So this is also 23 by 4. Now the question is, how many square inches of fabric do you need if you want to include 48 such squares? So 48 times this area, right? That is those many, right? So how many square inches? So each square inches is how much? You have to multiply this and then by 48, right? So when you multiply, you get area equals to 23 over 4 times 23 over 4, correct? And that should be multiplied by, there are 48 such squares, right? So that should be multiplied by 48. Each square has this much of area, correct? So that becomes your solution, right? So you can use calculator to find this answer. Without calculator also it can be done, but takes time, right? So for you, I think calculator should be allowed. So we'll do what? 23 divided by 4. So we get this. So we'll square this, right? And then multiply by 48. So when you do this calculation, you get this area as 1587 inch square. Is that clear? So that becomes the area. So how many square inch of fabric do you need if you want to include 48 squares? So each square is 23 over 4 square, right? So that would be 23 over 4 whole square times 48, and that is 1587 inch square. Okay. Now, part C is the fabric you buy is 36 inches wide. How long a piece of fabric do you need? Now, each piece is 5 3/4, slightly less than 6, right? See, 5 3/4, which is same as 23/4, slightly less than 6. So to get 48 pieces, you could have 6 pieces on the width side. You got 36 inches, right? 36 inches. So to get 48, so 48 basically is equals to 6 times 8, right? 6 times 8 is 48, right? So 6 will be along the width and 8 will be along the length. Pieces, correct? It makes 48. So it says how long a piece of fabric. So 8, and each length of 8 is 23/4. So it will be 23/4 times 8. Is that okay? So when you divide 23/4 with 8, you get what? It goes 2 times, you get 46, right? So we get 46 inches. Clear? So you need to buy, how long piece of fabric do you need to buy? You need to buy 46 inches of fabric. Part D is, you buy a piece of fabric that has the length you found in part C. This is 46 inches. Once you cut all the squares, how many square inches of fabric are left? You only wanted 1587 inches square, right? That is the actual. But how much did you really buy? 36 inch by 46. So area purchased is 36 times 46, correct? Which is equal to, let's calculate. So we have 36 times 46, which is equal to 1656. Correct? So you purchased that much, you wanted only 1587, right? So that is what you wanted. This is what you need. And this is what you have. Now once you cut all the squares, how many square inches of fabric are left? Difference of the two, right? So left will be how much? Take the difference, 1656 minus 1587. Is that clear to you, right? So we do 1656 minus 1587, and that gives us 69 inches square. It's in area, correct? So that is how we are going to solve it. So I hope the steps are absolutely clear. So let's go through this once again to understand the whole strategy. Now, the condition here, each square should be big enough so that you can turn over 5/8 inch long. That means minimum length is 5/8. So we know minimum length is 5/8, correct? With 5/8 and total is 5 3/4, we got 9 pieces, right? So with that length and maximum to make 5 3/4, we got 9 pieces. But total is 5 3/4. So we had to divide 5 3/4 by 9, right? And we got a result as 23/36. Does it make sense to you? Right. So that is the total length of each which we got, correct? Now since we have 36 inches as the width, we found that we can actually place 6 of these along the width and 8 along the length, right? So to make it 48, right? And then we figured out that since 8 should be placed along the length. Each is 5 3 by 4. We multiplied this by 8 to get the total length, which was calculated as 46 inches. So we purchased the cloth piece of fabric, 36 inch wide, 46 inch length. Multiplying that, we know the area of our fabric. Taking away what we need, we know what is left, which is 69 inch square. So that is how it should be solved. So I hope that is absolutely clear. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.